years. Shares in Canopy Growth, Canada's largest medical marijuana producer, rose over 23% in Wednesday trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Constellation stock fell by 8.9%. The investment is indicative of a culture in which any stigma of marijuana is fading. Bloomberg News reported on Wednesday while U.S. federal law still prohibits recreational marijuana sales and use, it is now legal in 9 states. Medical marijuana use is now legal in 31 states, and penalties for marijuana possession and use have been reduced in many jurisdictions. Canada will legalize marijuana for recreational use on October 17th. Analysts have suggested that sales of alcoholic beverages may fall in the next decade, according to Fortune. Constellation has said it does not intend to enter the U.S. marijuana market until it is legalized throughout the country. CEO Bruce Linton said Wednesday, though, the federal law could change sooner than people think. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook. Ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. Reuters reports a Colorado baker who won a narrow Supreme Court victory over his refusal to make a wedding cake for a gay couple is suing the state after it launched another case against him for declining to create a cake for a transgender woman. Jack Phillips, owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop in the city of Lakewood, accuses Colorado's Civil Rights Commission of violating his constitutional rights to free speech, freedom of religion, equal protection, and due process, according to the lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Denver on Tuesday. The written complaint alleges this lawsuit is necessary to stop Colorado's continuing persecution of Phillips. Also named in the lawsuit are Governor John Hickenlooper and Cynthia Kaufman, the state attorney general. Phillips seeks permanent injunctions against the state for taking any enforcement actions against him. The lawsuit stems from a complaint filed by Denver attorney Autumn Scordina with the Civil Rights Commission in 2017, in which she claims that Phillips refused to bake a cake that celebrates my transition from male to female. Phillips is also seeking $100,000 in punitive damages against the director of the state Civil Rights Division, Aubrey Ellenson, for her unconstitutional actions. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A report finds it's not okay to just start talking to people you don't know, and a monstrosity is created in the Frito-Lay laboratory. This is the Onion Week in Review. Local newborn Nathan Jameson surprised the world earlier this morning by irrevocably losing all faith in humanity after just 6 days. Though he's not yet developed the capacity for speech, spokespeople for the 6-day-old baby have confirmed he already knows that humans cannot be trusted and that most people lack self-awareness about their own destructive tendencies.
While most people need around 30 or 40 years to truly understand that the vast majority of humanity is shallow and irredeemable, baby Nathan's convinced that he has seen all that he needs to see. People have been nice and even brought him toys and presents. But the fact is, Nathan knows they're all full of shit.
And in this week's science report, botanists discover trees are all slowly trying to strangle each other. In other news, a fun-loving turtle is all business when it comes to feeding time, and a partygoer rolls a couple of fat burritos to pass around.
This is the Onion News Network.
Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. It's the live Thursday edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris. Mark, what are you doing here?
I'll bet you're wondering where Daryl is.
Exactly.
Well, Daryl called in sick, and we do let that happen around here.
Since when? Who changed that policy? Did you sign off on this?
I think I've had a sick day.
Call? What? Have you? Yeah, I think you have.
I'm a little stuffy today, so I might sound a little better.
Nasally?
Yeah, do I?
A little better? Is that what you said?
I don't know. I probably sound better when I'm sick. That's what some people say, is people always sound better when they're sick.
Really? I don't.
No? Do I sound different?
You do sound different.
I do.
Yeah. Well, Daryl's isn't centered around his nasal area.
So we're just not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think the nice way to say it is a stomach bug.
Okay.
Is that the way to say it? Yeah.
That is a good euphemism for what we're not going to talk about.
For what we're not going to talk about. It sounds like a real great weight loss plan. That's the only way I can lose anything.
Oh, boy.
So today, actually, I saw a list of, I think it was the top 25 people who could receive the Democratic nomination. And one of them, let's see, I remember Elizabeth Warren, and I remember Cory Booker, and I remember Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, and I remember, is it Andrew Cuomo?
Andrew Cuomo.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
So Cuomo's on the list of people who could do it. And he's the governor of New York. And then there was, I remember the mayor of New York's on there too. But I think in U.S. history, no mayor has ever won the presidency. No sitting mayor has ever won the presidency.
That's an interesting bit of trivia.
But then again, it had been a long time since a senator won before Barack Obama won. So
that's true too.
And I'm pretty sure no reality TV star.
So is there
won.
Is there like a most common profession of those elected?
Generals is
in the military, military generals.
Generals and like vice presidents. I think that's the place to go. But it's been so long since a vice president won that basically that streak's lost too.
Really. That's all interesting. I always think senators. I don't know why I think that. I think because a lot of them run. That's a common stepping stone.
There were a lot of senators on that list.
I bet. Hillary?
No, she was not on the list. I can't speak to why she's not. I don't know.
She could barely stand up at the last time she ran.
I thought she was candidate for life or something like that.
That was an issue. Yeah. I think that people, the folks that were on the Hillary train, are now looking for Elizabeth Warren.
Oh dear God.
What?
No.
You're from Mass, right?
No. Yes.
Hey, that's your homegirl.
No.
No, you don't like Elizabeth?
Oh my God, no.
Is it because you have something against American Indians? Is that what it is?
Oh, totally.
What do you think most disqualifies Elizabeth Warren from the presidency?
She contradicts herself on a day-to-day basis. Like I've seen interviews like one after the other of her saying like two totally different things. It's kind of like her political theater sucks, I guess.
And that is one thing that you don't really experience until the presidency is when they really, the press really starts tightening the screws. They don't pay attention.
Having been from Massachusetts, she's already had her what do you call it? Campaigns against her. So I've already seen all of that content. And
right.
I mean, some of it you just can't make up. It's her own words coming out of her own mouth and side by side. And actually recently I saw, it was the town of Yarmouth Yarmouth Police Department posted a huge thing that a letter written up, I think by the Chief Police Association or whatever, because she made some comments saying like all police departments are racist front and back. And so
that's a kind of a broad brush.
I was kind of like in this long letter, which I actually happen to agree with of everything that they wrote about to Elizabeth Warren. But the one thing I find issue with is that they posted this opinion piece on the town police Facebook page.
Okay.
So usually you don't see politics on town pages like that. Do you know what I mean?
That's
from a
true.
police department saying something in favor or against one candidate or another.
Right.
You just don't typically see it. And so when I first saw this, it kind of struck me as like, whoa, like this guy's posting it right to the Yarmouth Police Department Facebook page. And even though I agree with everything in it, I just don't know if it's appropriate for someone that's representing taxpayers both on the right and on the left.
Was it a factual news story or was it a?
It was an opinion. It was an opinion piece saying that. You can pull it up if you go to their Facebook page. Basically saying that her comment is like smearing good law enforcement officers, and like it brings up the police officer in Weymouth that was shot and killed, the one in Yarmouth that was shot and killed,
right?
And saying that it tarnishes, it reduces public trust in the departments when she, paints this image that all police departments are racist front and back, which I agree with. I think,
agree that all police
I
departments
agree
are?
that it paints a bad, it hurts public trust in law enforcement, and it does create like a psychological perception when you're the public that you have it's kind of like fear mongering is essentially what it is. It's making some blatant statement that's painting with a broad brush in order to generate fear against a group of individuals, which in this case is the cops.
Right. The bigger question to me, whenever I hear something like this, is whether people in that position, whether they're appointed, elected, whatever, do they give up their First Amendment rights to freedom of speech when they take it?
Or does the town... he could have done that on his personal
he
page.
Certainly could have, but the question to me would be, does the town have a policy that prohibits that sort of thing? And if not, then okay, well, you don't have a policy against it, and this chief or whoever posted it has every right in the world to post it. Absent You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it becomes a free speech issue, whether I agree with it or not. And I'm with you. I don't think.
I think a lot of it was still emotion. Like I think the letter was emotionally fueled because they just lost one of their officers who got shot and killed, and so they had this. And this was like 2 months ago. And so they literally just lost one of their own. And then, I think her comments emotionally triggered the departments.
Triggered.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Elizabeth Warren has other things that she's interested in doing.
Yeah.
Like
gun grabbing?
I'm sure gun grabbing's way at the top of her to-do list that she probably has that penciled in for tomorrow.
Why is it every time a woman gets into any type of notoriety in politics, they always have to be horribly, horribly to the left?
Not every time.
Sarah
painting with
Palin
a broad you're painting with a broad brush.
No, Sarah Palin was probably the last female conservative that got any kind of
crazy flack for being nuts.
No, but just in general.
Again, I'm painting with
conservative
that broad bunch, but yeah, that was the last one that anybody really
conservatives.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Really got picked on tremendously. Now, people on the left will, as a rule, just pick on everybody on the right. They're picking on Trump right now. That's their target for the next couple of years. Where are all
these pro-gun women, and why aren't they running for office? You know what I mean? I just feel like half the women that get up to these platforms, they're always like, "Oh, we got to ban all the guns. We got to."
It does. I've been told that basically having 2 X chromosomes and running for office means you get an extra 4 points in the vote. So you would think that women would just run. I mean, if you listen to the feminists, women are being underrepresented because it's the patriarchy or some darn thing.
Right.
But it seems to me that mostly gals just don't want to run. If there's a 4-point bonus for being a woman, then why not run? I would love to get a 4-point bonus. I can tell you, I probably got a 10-point detraction by being a convicted felon.
And you're white and you're male.
Yeah.
So yeah,
in New Hampshire, I don't think it matters much.
That's very true. But in this case, Elizabeth Warren plans to take on capitalism because that's evil, right?
Well, so I hear.
This comes to us from Reason. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, thinks she knows what ails capitalism. There aren't enough people telling the biggest businesses what to do.
Is that a quote from her?
No, this is.
That sounds like something she'd say.
And this is more of an opinion piece from Reason. This is based on a much longer article, which is in Vox, and I would recommend anybody who's interested in really understanding what Elizabeth Warren's plan is.
Is Vox partnered with the New York Times at all?
I have no idea.
I thought those two.
Stuff. Probably
not listening to them.
But we're going to tell you what she means by people aren't controlling businesses the way that she thinks they should. The big thing is the way she thinks they should. That's the key phrase.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom here on Free Talk Live. Or you can use the Discord app. Just go to discord.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With both secure nodes and supernodes, Zencash recently surpassed 17,000 nodes, which means Zencash has one of the largest node systems of any cryptocurrency. These supernodes will bring network, economic, and technological improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Thursday edition, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. We're talking about, Chris, we were going to talk about these presidential candidates, and I thought you had a story on Cuomo, which I think we're going to get to, but
we will.
You went off the rails. You got some things about Elizabeth Warren that you want to talk about, right?
I've had a very long week. I guess that's the best way to put it. So I'm firing on about half the cylinders. And I had a great time today. I took Riley out shooting, and that was a blast.
Riley, our producer, he produces the Free Talk Live Digest and the Edgington Post and his own show, Anarcho Agenda.
Yep.
He's also blinder than a bat. And you took a blind man to fire a what? A what?
We shot a bunch of guns. It was great. He's a great student. That's the best thing. And, you know, if people are conscious of what constitutes gun safety, and Riley
they don't need to be able to see the target.
No. Don't need to, but we were able to get him pointed in the right direction, and I think he probably put metal on paper a couple times there, so it was good.
Did you get his sights all set in?
Perfectly.
He was a good pupil.
Actually, the sighting would have been me grabbing the end of the barrel and just a little bit to the left. There you go.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. The question was, could he do it?
Did he have fun? Is what the question is.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let him speak to that, but it was good.
He'll be on the air, I think, later on this week, so that'll be exciting.
Nice.
Want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. I've been watching their YouTube channel pretty regularly for the last couple of months, and Roger Ver, who is he's an advertiser here on Free Talk Live under, for Bitcoin.com, but he formerly sponsored the show under Memory Dealers. And back then, he was very specific that he did not want he never wanted the spotlight. He didn't want his name mentioned, just talk about Memory Dealers, whatever. And that was the way he was going to, benefit us and the show and our ideas and those kind of things. And angel investors basically have made Free Talk Live run for the longest time. But one thing, he's obviously stepped in. That when Bitcoin came along, he decided, my anonymity is not important anymore. I must push this thing. He became Bitcoin Jesus, and he, purchased Bitcoin.com, I believe, and has used it as a platform to spread the ideas of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and the vision of Satoshi Nakamoto. I think I think that the channel's great. I've really enjoyed it. There's opportunity to win lots of things there. They give away cryptocurrency on the channel. They give away t-shirts, give away lots of stuff. It's you just go to bitcoin.com for the website, and then you go to YouTube and search bitcoin.com. They make it easy.
And as Chris changes the direction of the show, I'm not going to change it again, Daryl. Daryl. See,
Mark.
What's your name again?
Does that look like Daryl?
Actually, right. I'm Daryl. Mark something.
But we've been talking about Elizabeth Warren, her plans to destroy capitalism by pretending to save it. Try to contain your surprise that Warren believes the profit motive is running capitalism. She wants the largest corporations in the United States to be legally answerable to people other than their shareholders, and she's introducing a bill to do just that. Warren's Accountable Capitalism Act, quote unquote, would require that corporations that earn more than $1 billion in revenue a year, note revenue and not profits.
Yes.
Revenue would be the total amount of money that flows into a business before it pays its bills.
I can't imagine how few American companies we're talking about with $1 billion revenue.
So she's saying she doesn't want the companies to basically do what's best for their shareholders.
I'm going to be like Elizabeth Warren, and I'm going to tell you what this means. I'm just kidding. That's because that's what she's doing. Warren's Accountable Capitalism Act would require that corporations that earn more than $1 billion in revenue a year, note revenue, not profits, would need a federal charter in order to operate. This charter would obligate these companies to consider all, quote, stakeholders, unquote, not just shareholders when making decisions. The bill also requires these corporations to permit employees to elect 40% of the company's board of directors. A supermajority of 75% of directors and shareholders would have to approve political donations. And the writer at Reason, and this is somewhat of an op-ed piece, says, gee, I wonder if someone will propose doing something similar for labor unions.
Probably not.
Sure.
And I believe that that's one of the reasons that Citizens United, the right. Supreme Court ruling from several years ago at this point, that just got the liberals all whipped up. And I'm not saying it's a good ruling.
Right.
But the reason for it is, to me, is essentially as a counterbalance to labor unions that made all kinds of donations and those kind of things. So if labor unions can make the donations, why can't corporations?
Absolutely.
Because it's an organization of people. Well, yep, so's corporation.
Exactly. Shareholders would be permitted to sue the company if they felt its actions were driven purely by profit and did not reflect the desires of its many stakeholders.
So one of the, if you look back in U.S. history, this is going to bring up the 14th Amendment crowd.
Oh, boy.
Lots of that stuff out there.
Here we go.
Originally, corporations were chartered for the purpose of the public good. I think the first one was to build a canal in New York, the Erie Canal, maybe. And it's only after that basically corporations were a way to dodge the responsibility of running a company in some ways or another. Which I think that they would have found other ways to dodge it anyhow.
Yeah. I've always looked at the organization of a corporation more about taxes, which to me speaks more about our tax policies and onerous levels of taxation than really anything else. And there also is some way of limiting liability to you to encourage people to go into business. And if you don't allow them some protections, will they do so?
Basically a corporation allows people to go into, buy shares and not be responsible for that company. So if I were to go out and buy some shares of Facebook right now, I'm not running Facebook.
Well, and
if Facebook got some kind of huge lawsuit against it, I shouldn't be responsible for ponying up some portion of that ruling in that lawsuit. I just bought some shares,
Right.
So that's kind of the idea.
But what you do suffer is if you're the people that you have elected to, say, a board of directors of Facebook, if they start just going off the rails and acting all crazy and doing insane stuff, I'm sorry, that's what Facebook is doing.
So do shareholders...
Go ahead.
Because I've never owned any shares or anything like that. But do shareholders vote on all that stuff?
They don't vote on all that detail. So usually how it works is this. First of all, shareholders will vote for who is on that board of directors.
Right.
That's what they do for a corporation. What they can also do is pool their votes into a voting proxy. And they can vote people off. They can vote people out of the company. They can threaten all sorts of things. And that's the power of shareholders. Now, the issue becomes, let's say, we're talking IBM and Mark owns let's say he owns 1,000 shares. It sounds like a lot. That's expensive stock.
What's like the measurement or like the unit for like one share? Is it like a set?
It's not a set amount.
Well,
no?
right.
Different companies can have different amounts of shares.
But let's say there's 50 million shares of IBM out there. Mark's holdings don't really matter to a hill of beans.
It doesn't matter to a hill of beans, no.
Yeah.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
Pro Pure Gravity Water Filters. Most tested, most trusted. The Pro One G2.0 all-in-one filter by Pro Pure removes and reduces up to 200 plus contaminants, including fluoride, lead, and more. There's no priming required, no add-on filter needed for fluoride reduction, and it's totally reusable. There's a size to fit most competitive brands of gravity water filter systems. Pro Pure Water Filters. When you don't know what's in your water, visit an authorized Pro Pure dealer or ProPureUSA.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's live Thursday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. I want to tell you about the Discord. It's a chat room, sort of like a really advanced chat room. And it also has the ability for you to call in. As a matter of fact, I got a couple of people called in that I'm going to have to take care of here shortly.
Nice.
I didn't even see this. Yeah. And so, yeah, you can call in, talk about whatever you want here on Free Talk Live. We're talking about presidential hopefuls. Elizabeth Warren, I guess she wants to fix capitalism.
Absolutely.
Before we go any further, though, let's, I have no idea how long these people have been waiting. Let's go to Stefan calling in from Ohio. Stefan, you're on Free Talk Live.
I'd actually like to talk about a former presidential hopeful.
Who's that?
Gary Johnson has entered the New Mexico. Oh, my goodness. Gary Johnson, our Lord and Savior.
Gary.
I know everyone knows you love
Gary.
Not everybody
Gary's
knows.
a nice guy.
Gare Bear.
But anyway,
hilarious.
He's entered the New Mexico Senate race, and there's been a lot of buzz over this. I made a meme, which ended up getting me kicked out of the Libertarian Party and my ballot access revoked, but I digress. And a lot of people seem to be thinking that he actually has a shot at winning, and I think that's completely unreasonable to think so.
I'd like to hear why, because he has won twice already in New Mexico and is a
Republican.
As a Republican. What is he now?
He is running as a libertarian.
He's running as a libertarian. Well, that's going to make winning hard, but I'm interested in knowing what's going on. Go ahead, tell me.
What was happening was originally they had another candidate running. I can't remember the fellow's name at the moment, but this fellow decided to jump out of the race, and then the New Mexico Libertarian Party, without even consulting with Gary first, decided to nominate him, and Gary figured, okay, I'm just going to jump into this thing. And he's talking about it like he's talking about his presidential run, which is he actually seems to think he has a shot at winning this, and I find that to be just delusional that a libertarian could win anything at
Wasn't
this
he
point.
polling in double digits out of New Mexico as presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party?
He ended up ultimately winning 9%.
Okay, well, that's close to double digits.
Close to double digits, but what's happening here is a lot of people are telling me, oh, but Gary Johnson, he's polling in the Senate race at like 24 points. Yes, but the only polls that have been conducted in New Mexico have both been partisan polls, either funded by libertarian groups or Democratic groups. It's very difficult to find nonpartisan polls, and the reason this angers me is not because I have I fear that because I think he's a terrible messenger for the Libertarian Party.
Well, you got to think, too, though, that when he was running for president, right, like a lot of New Mexican voters probably assumed that the rest of the country didn't have the relationship they did. So I know there's a lot of people that vote based on the odds of somebody winning, which his odds of winning New Mexico are a lot greater than his odds were winning the other 49 states. So therefore, because this is only a statewide race, this, for New Mexican voters, that weighs in. And he's already got the popularity in New Mexico. He already has 8 years executive experience. He knows other lawmakers. He knows other, local judges and all of these things. I think he actually has a legitimate chance at...
That's scary to think about because
I don't know why. Why is it scary, though?
It's scary because if he wins, he will be the first libertarian ever elected to the U.S. Senate.
Okay.
And I
What's
do not
wrong
want
with
him
that?
I do not want him being the poster child of what a libertarian is when
He
he
already
is far
is,
from a
though.
libertarian.
Okay, I hate to say it, but the
disgraceful.
Why?
He doesn't believe in freedom of association. He hasn't openly come out saying he wants to end the Federal Reserve. He's in favor of gun restrictions.
So he's not Stefan, but he's Gary, and he has a lot of positive.
Let me ask you this, Stefan: is he the most likely libertarian to win his election in history?
No, I would say the most likely libertarian candidate to win an election would have been last time in Alaska, who was Joe Miller, who was polling extremely well and ended up losing. He came in second place.
By what?
What was it? 27%.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
It's really good. And but even then, if Gary were to somehow win this, I don't think that he's the guy we need representing the Libertarian Party in the Senate.
Would you rather have some like hard Republican or hard Democrat in instead, or would you rather have somebody that's as close to you philosophically?
If it means we can buy some time until we can get, so I don't usually like using the term actually libertarian, but if it means we can buy some time to get a more pure libertarian to run for office, then yes, I think
most as far as I'm concerned, the pure libertarians, the ones that go around like it's a a competition of who's the most pure, those are the people I'm honest to God least likely to vote for myself.
Right.
And I consider myself a libertarian. If you can't hold a job or hold a conversation with somebody that's 95% philosophically aligned with you and you can't get along with them, you're not going to get along with anybody in D.C.
But Gary isn't 95%, philosophically.
But I'm saying you probably have more in common with Gary Johnson philosophically than you do the far left or the far right, which would make up the majority of DC.
Right. But now you're making the interim argument. It's just like, well, he's closest to you, so that's what.
No, I'm saying if you can't get along with somebody that has that much common ground with you, then you have an issue communicating.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand what Stefan's saying. What the concern is because libertarianism is not mainstream. It simply isn't. And I think what a lot of libertarians feel is, look, if people aren't going to get what we really mean, and I'm going to talk about the 95% that libertarians agree upon. That has to do with, like he said, right of association and different things like that, sound money and all these different things. If the message that gets put out doesn't include those key points, then we're not even putting out a real message. Now, if Gary were to run as an extremely libertarian running Republican, I'd have no issue with him, just like I have no issue with Rand Paul.
Or Justin Amash.
Right, Justin Amash. A great answer. So these are all people that are not claiming to be libertarian. I think libertarianism is so unique and holds so many issues dear to its heart and crucial that they aren't even mainstream, that I'm willing to wait for that person to come along. That's just me.
I think that to my mind on this is the libertarians can't control. If the libertarians are going to, be so have so little control over their own party that somehow interlopers get in by their own estimation, then isn't that the way it should have been in the first place? I mean, really, when libertarians are running around saying, "I don't vote because it's bad" and stuff, well, then don't think for a second that your party's got any chance of having real libertarians. I mean,
thank you.
If you don't live in New Mexico, no one cares what you think on this one, Stefan.
People will be watching it.
It's the people in New Mexico, the libertarians in New Mexico.
If he wins, it becomes the business of the rest of the people in the liberty movement. I already hate how much this guy is worshipped anyway. As said, it got my ballot access revoked because I criticized the guy.
But if he rightfully earned his support in New Mexico, who are you to knock on that? Isn't that like free market support? That's free market support. He did what he had to do as a human being in order to gain the support of the majority of people in New Mexico. And if he gets elected, that's saying something. That is saying something. That's saying that the majority of voters out there
opportunist.
He's not an opportunist.
He built a multi-million-dollar company.
The Libertarian Party can't even figure out what it wants to do.
Gary Johnson built a multi-million-dollar company from the ground up. That he started door knocking.
No, he didn't. Donald Trump was given his money and his opportunities.
Gary,
Gary Johnson started a handyman job, turned a handyman business into a contracting company.
Yeah, door knocking people in his community, and he provided such genuine good service that by word of mouth he grew and he grew and he grew, and eventually his company employed over 1,000 people.
If libertarians can get libertarians to vote, then you can start talking about this. But until then, you got no control over your party.
I love Gary.
This segment brought to you by Gary Johnson for New Mexico.
He can send me an email. I'll give him money to his campaign.
Sorry to hear Daryl got cursed by Montezuma.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call,
Bye, Stefan.
Bye. Free Talk Live. That was Discord. You heard how good that sounded? Just go to discord.freetalklive.com to get involved or call us on the phone lines. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get diamond gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond gusset jeans got it, others don't.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. It's a live Thursday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
Call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. Gary Johnson was brought up in the last segment, and you know how that gets libertarians riled up. You've got an article, Chris, that you're finishing up about Elizabeth Warren, and we're taking your calls. I want to tell you about CryptoTip.org. What CryptoTip is what we believe, and this is the reason we got involved and we created CryptoTip, is we believe this is a great way to get cryptocurrency in people's hands. If you want people
just
to...
Just a tip. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I never considered that in putting together this website, I got to say.
Just put it in their
hands. Oh, we're going to need another website. So... if you want people to use cryptocurrency, they must have cryptocurrency. A great way to get many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to have cryptocurrency is by giving them tips. Now, waiters, waitresses, cab drivers, the sort of people who get tips, obviously you should give them a US dollar tip too, but you want to give them a cryptocurrency tip. That way they can get involved. So first you give a normal tip in USDs and then the cryptocurrency tip on top of that. And what's great about CryptoTip.org is not only can you give them a tip in a paper wallet, but if they don't use it, it returns to you. It's an excellent outreach tool. It's a business card size printable cryptocurrency tip. You choose the amount. You get email notifications when they're redeemed with Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and BTC. CryptoTip.org. It's great. I think, please adopt it, use it, CryptoTip.org. No cost to it. Chris?
Yes, we've been talking about Elizabeth Warren and her intention to help fix capitalism, fix what's wrong with it. The justification for all this is the common and economically sketchy claim of income inequality, that the rich are getting richer and that wages are stagnating. Warren complains in a Wall Street Journal commentary.
Household income is rising still. I mean, it's certainly not out of the ballpark. But we just looked at, I think this week or last week on the show, that over 50 years, household income has, even for the poorest, has gone up almost 30%.
Yeah, and that's a question.
Those are by our inflation-adjusted dollars.
Correct. And I'm not going to say that there aren't ways that the very wealthy can scam the system and that those aren't from time to time used.
Let me give my example here because I think that this is really, this is easy for people to understand. All right. So I'm a lawyer. You're a paralegal. We both get hired at the same time. You're my assistant. I get started at as an associate, a junior associate at $100 an hour, and you get started as a junior paralegal at $10 an hour.
Okay.
We work our butts off that first year. We get lots of cases won, lots of paper moved, do all those things. They bump my pay, make me a regular associate, and you a regular paralegal, and they bump our pay by 100%.
100%.
I go from making $100 an hour to $200 an hour. You go from 10 to 20. Both of us are doing pretty well here, except that the wage gap disparity went from $90 to $180, and now I'm making 200% more than I was making before, and that's a real problem. There's this giant gap that's been created between what we're making, even though you're making double.
Right.
So that's what essentially is going. Maybe I don't know. Maybe. Capitalism requires that the rich get richer in order for the poor to get richer too.
Yeah, and we'll get into discussing a little of the specifics of that. The justification for all this is the common, as I said, economically sketchy claim of income inequality, that the rich are getting richer and that wages are stagnating. Warren complains in a Wall Street Journal commentary that shareholders have, quote, unextracted, unquote, $7 trillion in profits since 1985. That, quote, might otherwise have been reinvested in the workers who helped produce them, unquote. So the only thing I want to bring into that scenario is, and David Stockman, and I can't remember the title of the book, but I've quoted it a million times, he makes the case that if you do things at the legal level and you do things at the tax level, that you can create unintended consequences. And one of those that he points out is the idea of stock buybacks. So stock buybacks used to be completely rare. You know, they were rarely ever done. The companies would do that. Since tax laws and other laws have changed since the Reagan years, buybacks have become very, very common, and it's almost something that companies it's a tactic. But the question he has is, what does a stock buyback actually produce other than inflating a stock price where big stockholders can take advantage of that and profit tremendously? And that's why I do hear these things like, have extracted, $7 trillion out of companies. Well, that's the mechanism that is most frequently used.
Let's go to the phones here. We've got Big Ben from Canada on the Discord. Big Ben, can you hear me? Maybe I've got the wrong button pushed. Let's try this one. Big Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, terribly sorry. What's on your mind? What is on your mind? Clearly there is some kind of audio issue going on, so I guess I'm going to have to...
To be continued.
Yeah,
what
I don't know what's
Ben's
going
mind?
on. Yep. I'll see if I can work it out during the top of the
I heard
hour.
a cough. What was that?
Big Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's my fault. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. First, on the Gary Johnson thing, Michael Badnarik once said that libertarians agree 95% of the time, but spend 95% of the time arguing about the other 5%.
Yeah, that's about right.
But here's I'm going to do something on the other 5% and ask a question to all three of you and let you debate it.
Okay.
Do you believe lacing fentanyl with marijuana is an act of aggression?
Do I think lacing fentanyl with marijuana is an act of aggression?
Seems like it would mellow it out a little bit. Or did you mean the other way around?
If you tell your client, I presume you're selling fentanyl at this point, tell whomever you're giving fentanyl to that it's just regular fentanyl and not laced with anything, then you have then you've lied. And as far as I'm concerned, lying during some kind of transaction is fraud. Yep. I don't know why you would want to do such a thing, but yes, I would call that an act of aggression.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you sell somebody something and you don't tell them what's in it and you know what's in it, then you're committing fraud, which is an aggressive thing to do.
I don't think
deceive
that
someone.
Lying is freedom of speech.
I don't either. And I just think there's a moral code that people should follow, whether they do or not. It happens to coincide with libertarian philosophy, and I would say that, yes, that's absolutely
You're robbing
fraud.
someone of their choice to consent when you don't tell them what's in it.
So, was there a gotcha to that one, Big Ben?
Well, I was just wondering because there's been lots of cases of overdoses happening around the States. And
right.
Fentanyl, but usually it's from the fentanyl, not the marijuana.
Yeah, that may have been a misstatement, I think.
Do you think it was it, you mean lacing your marijuana with fentanyl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said lacing your fentanyl with marijuana.
I reversed the order is what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess the point being is if you sold someone marijuana and they thought it was completely harmless and instead you gave them a highly dangerous opioid, then it's still fraud. You did not provide what you said you were going to do from a libertarian
how is that even
standpoint.
a question, though? Like,
where
were you coming from? I feel like that's such common sense logic. Like, where were you?
No, I grew up.
It's like giving someone a bottle of water that's, really like some toxic acid and saying, "Here, sip this." Like,
can I speak as
do that.
Someone who has actually bought drugs that turned out to be laced with something?
Why?
Don't buy drugs.
Well, it wasn't my intent, but we harassed this like old hippie for a long time to give us some weed, and he finally was like, all right, I'll sell you a joint. Turns out it was laced with PCP, which was not the high we were looking for.
Yes.
These are not the droids you were looking for. It was rather intense, and it was rather shocking, but it
But you didn't
was
bother
what it
him
was.
anymore.
No, we didn't bother him, but the point being is I felt that was fraud. And it was also somewhat dangerous in the fact that I was trying to drive myself across a bridge, and when all that stuff sort of hit me, not a good thing.
This is a probable, almost certain future of making certain drugs illegal. It's very unlikely in the marketplace that you're going to get some kind of laced drug,
especially with things that are more expensive.
Yeah.
Why would I cut my profit?
Yeah. Why would you do it? Thanks for the call, Big Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE or discord.freetalklive.com.
Have you experienced the miracle of CBDs? They can help you reduce suffering, reduce stress, help you sleep better, modulate inflammation in the body, and is absolutely safe. Meta Hemp Solutions offers a radically innovative approach to CBDs for exceptional results. Stop suffering and reduce your stress now. Isn't it time for a good night's sleep? Stop worrying about tomorrow today. Lab tested for potency, purity, and is non-psychoactive. Free shipping to all 50 states. Try our product risk-free, money-back guarantee. Use code GCN15 to get 15% off. That's code GCN15 to get 15% off. Offer ends soon, so visit MetaHemp Solutions today at metahempsolutions.com or call 833-858-7500. Suffer no more. Get rid of the stress and sleep better. Get our product now at metahempsolutions.com. That's metahempsolutions.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 16th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,178 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,338. Antiwar.com reports in his signing statement for the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, President Trump set out his plans to defy congressional attempts to limit involvement in the Saudi invasion of Yemen. Congress has been expressing concerns for quite some time about war crimes. The Trump administration has been eager to participate in the war, but less eager to discuss those times when Saudi warplanes bombed a school or a wedding or a hospital. Most recently, Saudi warplanes bombed a school bus, killing 44 children in the northern village of Dayan. This only adds to the question about U.S. support for keeping those warplanes flying and helping the Saudis pick targets. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defense James Mattis both reportedly pressed the Saudis on the matter. The Saudis clearly aren't worried, with coalition leadership insisting the attack on the bus was a legitimate military action. Saudi internal investigations have virtually without exclusion endorsed the incidents that killed large numbers of civilians, and the administration has backed the Saudis consistently at the UN. As Congress presses the administration to pare back its involvement, these large body counts, especially among children, are only going to make it more difficult for President Trump to justify continued involvement and refuse to comply with new reporting requirements. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With both secure nodes and supernodes, Zencash recently surpassed 17,000 nodes, which means Zencash has one of the largest node systems of any cryptocurrency. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports beer and liquor importer Constellation Brands announced a $4 billion investment in Canadian marijuana grower Canopy Growth Corp. Constellation, whose brands include Modelo and Corona Beer, Svedka Vodka, and Case Noble Tequila, currently has a 10% investment in Canopy Growth. The new infusion of cash will increase the stake to about 38% and includes warrants and other incentives to raise its position in the company to 50% in the next 3 years. Shares in Canopy Growth, Canada's largest medical marijuana producer, rose over 23% in Wednesday trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Constellation stock fell by 8.9%. The investment is indicative of a culture in which any stigma of marijuana is fading. Bloomberg News reported on Wednesday while U.S. federal law still prohibits recreational marijuana sales and use, it is now legal in 9 states. Medical marijuana use is now legal in 31 states, and penalties for marijuana possession and use have been reduced in many jurisdictions. Canada will legalize marijuana for recreational use on October 17th. Analysts have suggested that sales of alcoholic beverages may fall in the next decade, according to Fortune. Constellation has said it does not intend to enter the U.S. marijuana market until it is legalized throughout the country. CEO Bruce Linton said Wednesday, though, the federal law could change sooner than people think. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook. Ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. Reuters reports a Colorado baker who won a narrow Supreme Court victory over his refusal to make a wedding cake for a gay couple is suing the state after it launched another case against him for declining to create a cake for a transgender woman. Jack Phillips, owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop in the city of Lakewood, accuses Colorado's Civil Rights Commission of violating his constitutional rights to free speech, freedom of religion, equal protection, and due process, according to the lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Denver on Tuesday. The written complaint alleges this lawsuit is necessary to stop Colorado's continuing persecution of Phillips. Also named in the lawsuit are Governor John Hickenlooper and Cynthia Kaufman, the state attorney general. Phillips seeks permanent injunctions against the state for taking any enforcement actions against him. The lawsuit stems from a complaint filed by Denver attorney Autumn Scardina with the Civil Rights Commission in 2017, in which she claims that Phillips refused to bake a cake that celebrates my transition from male to female. Phillips is also seeking $100,000 in punitive damages against the director of the state Civil Rights Division, Aubrey Ellenson, for her unconstitutional actions. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
If you live in Williamsburg, chances are good you've seen them. Giant piles of beard hair rotting in the streets. Don't worry, it just means hipster molting season is here again. Experts say the husks of dead beards don't pose a threat to public safety and are just part of the natural life cycle of these strange organisms.
Once a year, all at the same time, every 20-something urban male sheds his ironic beard to make room for larger, more fanciful facial hair. They need the beards. They're a tough exoskeleton that protects these young people from the non-whimsical realities of life.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says it's the largest molting season on record. In Brooklyn, sanitation crews are working overtime to clean up the loose whiskers the exuviating males have left behind. The affected youth's molting season comes right before their mating season, when the males use their lush beards to impress the local hordes of burlesque females.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, kicking off the second hour. You are free to call in and talk live. That's why we named it what we did here. We'll take your calls here shortly. It's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
Let's go to Mike calling in from Long Beach. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Yeah, well, the show's been a real bore so far, having to listen to Stefan, a.k.a. Liberty Lover, a.k.a. Stefan Molyneux, call in and yammer on about God knows what. Jesus Christ. Yeah, like, listening to Stefan's a huge yawn. And then we had to listen to, oh yeah, let's talk about Heather for a minute. Yeah, okay, Heather is not a libertarian, okay? Yeah, my grandfather fought for the Nazi military. That's about how libertarian Heather is.
Is this your version of comedy?
It's stand-up. Shh.
Yeah, go ahead.
No heckling.
Well, I mean, there's the heckler's veto.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, she loves Gary Johnson. Yeah, she loves him a lot. I bet if I went on to Google, I could easily find a picture of her sucking Gary Johnson.
Whoa, and that was the end of that call. Man, I was hoping he was going to keep it PG and we just have some lousy comedy.
Oh,
that would have been good.
That guy must have missed his last appointment with his shrink.
The trick to a bad crank call tends to be just when you're really bombing.
He's trying to sound like
throw out a.
Sounds like some loser living in someone's basement. Like, I don't know. Just that the dude sounded like he has no life.
You're just painting with a broad brush.
No, I honestly, God, he sounds like who calls in and just like, oh yeah, this person and that person.
But I want to hear Mark's secret for being a bad caller, please.
Oh, when it comes to, I mean, basically, it seems like bad crankers realize that they're bombing. They don't know how to stop the call. Like the hemorrhaging is occurring.
Right.
And so they just got to throw out some cuss word. And then, of course, they're going to get dumped because they've heard the show before. They know how it works.
Yeah. You painted yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
That guy's probably so miserable in real life. I feel sorry for him.
Well, he's not on Free Talk Live anymore. Dave in New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, gentlemen.
How are
I have an update for you about something, I guess, that's going on with Carla Gericke's campaign, the former Free State Project president who's running for Senate.
Running for U.S. Senate.
She's running for New Hampshire Senate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking there. Go ahead.
Yes, New Hampshire Senate.
So apparently what happened is she has been trying to, appear at a local senior center, which I got the impression is government run in some form or government funded. And she said she's not allowed to go and, at this station. And she says that in the past, she actually demonstrated there because of something, I guess someone who was speaking there was, had made some comments about it was okay to throw old people out of houses in order to fund taxes or something. To protest against that. And they called the cops on her. I think that was a couple of years ago. This is the same place, I guess, where she protested earlier. So now they just don't want her to. I guess they don't want her to be there. She's threatening to file a formal complaint in the office if she's not allowed to participate in the democracy education, if that makes sense.
Yeah, obviously, if it's a private old folks' home, then I guess they can set whatever rules they want. But if it's a government one, they shouldn't be taking her tax money and then telling her she can't come there. That's a pretty messed up situation.
One of my theories is that 90% of the value in running for office, maybe 50% at least, it comes from the fact that they'll try to do things to you when you run for office, and that just helps you make your point. Like when Julia Miranda, one of the 10 years ago, she ran for Keene City or Keene School Board, something like that.
Keene City Council, I think.
And they targeted her because she was had the audacity to try and she was going to return her salary to taxpayers.
Yep.
So they threatened her with arrest over that.
Yep, it's true. They threatened her, and I don't know if they could arrest her, but they could certainly make her, campaign. I don't know what they could do, but she withdrew it as soon as she found out that they're going to interpret that as illegal.
Wow.
Well, in fact, there's a list, 200,000 pages long of things over 200,000 pages long of things you're not allowed to do in the United States.
And it's true, Dave. I mean, I guess that's how they do it. And running for office makes it even harder because you start taking donations, and then you've got to report all these donations because somebody didn't like the way somebody was getting donations for their campaign in the past. The government should be so small and inconsequential that the campaign contributions don't matter at all. Unfortunately, power does seem to centralize.
That it does.
It's important not to let that keep you from doing, to be a downer, discourage people from taking activity. Like I said, when people try to shut you down, that actually usually helps you.
Yeah, I think it probably gives press. Hopefully, Carla is able to turn it into something of value.
Right.
Anything else, Dave? And I think he's having some cell phone trouble.
Yeah, it was kind of sketchy.
855-450-3733. So, this Elizabeth Warren situation where she's trying to fix capitalism.
Yeah, it's interesting that progressives and many nominal conservatives invoke, quote, economic multipliers when the government spends our tax dollars on subsidies and grants within the private sector.
This is from Reason.com?
From Reason.com. Entire communities, we are told, benefit from the tax dollars are given to, even though the dollars are given to just a handful of politically connected firms.
Yeah, so you're told that lots of people benefit, but I mean, the efficiency of the benefit always makes me wonder. Even if they're very good at the distribution, lots of people get a little bit of money. It's the middle class government bureaucrats that make the real money.
Yeah, well, and at least they wield the most power, and they have the most potential to be bribed. They're in the perfect position to make things happen. And in the end, I mean, what this is really all about is Elizabeth Warren, and this is me going off I'm trying to kind of wrap this up, is, her idea is simply that if we highly regulate large corporations, those that make over $1 billion in revenues, and that's a large number of companies. It's thousands. The idea is that you can force them to behave the way you want. And all this, to me, just speaks of socialism. It speaks of an attempt to gain control over the means of production. And, we look at companies and we look at profits, and there's a great chart here which shows Amazon's revenue versus profit. So it basically shows this. If you were to look at a bar graph that all one set of lines is going to the ceiling, to the moon, and
that's revenue.
That is revenue. That's all the money that Amazon takes in, and then just this tiny line across the bottom
is profit.
Is this, and that is that tiny amount of profit.
Because they have to reinvest most of what they make into new and different products, because they're competing against so many different other businesses doing so many different other things, and seeing where they're going to win and where they're going to lose.
Right, and the article continues to say Amazon made the decision to invest in growth over profits for the long term, and the market has rewarded that decision. Now, to get the profits it passed up for years, Amazon is not legally operating under the public benefit corporation business model, which is what Elizabeth Warren is promoting. But it's
one of the things about this is that if she gets this implemented, it's always easiest to get whenever the rule is implemented against the most wealthy.
Sure.
Because when you are talking, first off, it's, which one is morally superior? Generally being, poor is considered, well, they're good folks, those poor people. They obviously didn't steal from anybody.
Right.
Whereas the wealthy people, as you get farther and farther to the end of the bell curve, very, very end of it, there's nobody to vote for them anymore.
Right.
There's nobody to say that they're the good guys. And that's how can you win when everybody's going to vote against you?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of summarizes where she's going with this. It really is about whether you trust boards of directors and shareholders to run companies, or whether you wish to turn it over to Elizabeth Warren and have every corporation be subject to the public good and not necessarily just its shareholders.
Well, I know where most Americans are going to fall on this one. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Why am I wrong? Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary, My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With both secure nodes and supernodes, Zencash recently surpassed 17,000 nodes, which means Zencash has one of the largest node systems of any cryptocurrency. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.fm. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Thursday edition. It is Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about dirty, disgusting politicians.
Except for Gary Johnson.
Well,
oh, jeez.
It's the crowd he runs with. Having been the very successful 2-time governor of New Mexico, now he's running as for Senate in the New Mexico Senate seat in the U.S. Senate. However, I think that's clear. Anyway, good luck to him. He's running as a libertarian. He's going to need it. Apparently, another presidential hopeful, Andrew Cuomo, has been caught saying something the conservatives don't like.
Hard to believe, and hard to believe this story is coming to us from Fox News. Andrew Cuomo shocks crowd, says America, quote, was never that great. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that.
I hear you. New York governor.
America is the shining beacon on the hill.
America and make America great again. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I don't know. Michelle Obama actually made a comment similar to that prior to the election, where she said something like, actually, I think it was maybe right after the election, where she made a comment saying that she was basically had no faith in America, but it was restored when they voted for her husband. Something along those lines.
Right.
Something made her happy. Something made her proud to be American.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, there have been lots of faux pas. Republicans, Democrats, they all say something at some point that they put their foot in their mouth. Case in point, our current president, Donald Trump, has put his foot in his mouth fairly recent. I think most Republicans would even agree with that. I think they will oftentimes say, well, he didn't mean to say that. But in this case, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo may have just handed Republicans a ready-made campaign ad for his rumored 2020 presidential bid by declaring Wednesday that America, quote, was never that great, unquote. The Democratic star made the seemingly offhand remark as part of his rebuke of President Trump's, quote, make America great again, unquote, slogan. Okay. During a bill signing in New York.
I always wonder what they mean when they say that, say things like that. So if you're talking about, I don't know, the freedom of black people, or the freedom of Chinese people or Asian people or whatever in the United States, then okay, I can see where you're coming from. But I mean, black people and Chinese people continue to come to this country for a reason, because it is a great place to make money. I think it's the best place in the world to make money, and money provides some level of freedom.
One could argue Singapore. One could argue a lot of the Eastern countries that have freer economies than the United States
I think
do.
at this moment in time, but historically, you've got to look at the United States as a pretty good as far as that goes, and maybe you do okay, but it really just depends on if you're, a young white guy, maybe Southeast Asia is the place to go to make your fortune right now. I don't know. That's just what I've heard.
Right.
But, I mean, how are they going to react to a young black guy going there to China to, I don't know, do whatever it is that he's going to do to make money? Are they going to take it as well? Because most countries are not as good as the United States when it comes to, freedom surrounding ethnicities.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, and I'm sure there are studies out there on it. I think where my spin, and let's see what Cuomo actually said.
Someone said that Japan was one of those countries where they're very
really
strict
like Japanese people in Japan.
When they're very strict about what ethnicities they let immigrate there.
I'm huge in Japan, by the way. He goes on to say, we're not going to, and this is exactly what he said. He said America was, quote, never that great. The Democratic star made the seemingly offhand remark as part of his rebuke of President Trump's Make America Great Again slogan during a bill signing in New York. But the line drew gasps from the crowd. Quote, we're not going to make America great again. It was never that great, Cuomo said to an awkward blend of gasps and chuckles. Quote, we have not reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged, when we'll reach greatness when discrimination and stereotyping against women, 51% of our population, is gone, and every woman's full potential is realized and unleashed, and every woman is making her full contribution, unquote, he said.
Do you feel like you're not getting your full contribution made, Heather?
Yeah, what's the deal?
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
In what way?
We're asking you what Cuomo means.
I mean, Cuomo says,
just answer the question.
It sounds like he thinks that you're being, shoved off into the corner and you don't get your say.
Because I'm a woman?
You're getting discriminated
that's
against. You're being stereotyped.
I don't get my say. It doesn't really apply because I co-host 3 hours of a nationally syndicated radio program.
That's not so for you? Surely somewhere there's some woman who's not getting her say.
I'm sure. I mean,
I was just listening to NPR on the way in where they had a trans reporter saying basically, I went from being a woman to a man, so I know exactly what it's like. And now that I have a deep voice, I have to be careful because my voice is a weapon. And I can't just interrupt women because they'll just be quiet and they won't get to say anything anymore and stuff.
For those of you at
baffled
home,
by all this.
The look on Chris's face when he gets an ice cream headache listening to things like this.
I imagine, though, even in America, there's probably different parts of the country where the dynamic of like women in the work field is a little different. I know there are places down south where the women, a lot more women are still stay-at-home moms, and the men are like the workers. So the women take on more like.
I was down south. I think I had more women bosses than I had men. They had no problem
different
telling
parts.
my
I think
butt
state
what
to
do.
state, though, there are some different cultural like.
Can we just say that we're all
Dearborn, Michigan?
As we discuss this, we're all going to be stereotyping somebody somehow.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean,
what else could you do?
If you were to travel, like, you know, even just like in New England, right? This is considered like the whitest part of the United States. So like we might not have the same issues when it comes to the minorities we have here as you do in like, you know, Detroit, where there's all these like, you know, or Chicago, I don't know, the little.
Are you saying
like,
we have issues with the minorities?
No, we don't. Like I've never. Well,
issues?
I mean, there's
people have
problem
issues with
communities, but it's not.
Different issues affect different folks in different places.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that like having grown up, like any of the minorities, quote unquote, that like I knew they were generally like good people. You know what I mean? But then, like, I guess there's, like, parts of the country where there's, like, the projects where, you know, people are like, oh, there's high crime in these minority communities and that, this, that, and the other thing. And I guess if you don't live there, you don't really know what goes on.
Yeah.
You can only kind of base your opinion on your own surroundings. So.
And what I do is look at those situations and try to figure out which government program caused it. And in so much of these that we...
But I don't think it's always a government program.
No, I think it is.
No, if you have a whole bunch of people that are like mass, like breeding, having kids they're not taking care of, and stealing and doing that kind of stuff.
Sounds like welfare
That has nothing to do with the government. That has to do with a population that's uneducated.
How about war on drugs?
Undisciplined. What about it?
No, I'm just saying that if I combine the war on drugs, welfare programs, and let me throw in, so I got a trifecta.
The war on drugs isn't causing people to like neglect their children and not take care of their families. There's plenty of opportunity for anybody of any race in this country. Nobody has to sell drugs.
I will argue that combined with an incentive system not to work and to have more children will cause all those problems, and those are all government-run programs.
So there's scapegoat.
Hear that, Pfizer? You don't have to sell drugs. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Pro Pure Gravity Water Filters. Most tested, most trusted. The Pro One G2.0 all-in-one filter by Pro Pure removes and reduces up to 200 plus contaminants, including fluoride, lead, and more. There's no priming required, no add-on filter needed for fluoride reduction, and it's totally reusable. There's a size to fit most competitive brands of gravity water filter systems. Pro Pure Water Filters. When you don't know what's in your water, visit an authorized Pro Pure dealer or ProPureUSA.com.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
The Princeton Medical Institute has found that the most common deathbed regret, more than losing contact with family or spending too much time at the office, is never having sprayed a fire extinguisher all over the place.
Similar themes emerged in our interviews with dying patients. Some wished that they'd taken more risks. Others wished that they'd lived a life truer to their dreams. But almost every single person surveyed, regardless of their age or circumstance, said that their most significant regret was never having grabbed a fire extinguisher off a wall and blasted it around a room until it ran out of foam.
I've lived a good life. I was a nurse for 32 years. I have 3 beautiful children, but I've never smashed my elbow into a glass case, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and gone whoosh over everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the live Thursday night edition. Daryl is out sick, and so it's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
Hey, Chris, Heather, I got to teach you guys how to run this front seat so that I don't have to come rushing in here when...
you do so well, Mark.
Daryl has some kind of issue with his tummy.
I would love to be first seat.
Would you?
You'd be in charge.
Heather wants all the power.
God forbid. God help us all.
Liberty.menu is a website where you can list your libertarian business for free. It's a tool for your community, and it's at its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network that you can connect and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of the fourth force, and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special badge because we can't make it any lower cost than free. Liberty.menu. Let's go to the phones. We got Don calling in from New Jersey. Don, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. I had to record a judge ask me for $10,000, and he admits he was coming in and out of my apartment trying to slim jim my cars, trying to find those tapes. And I brought the tapes to a church in South Carolina. He had a cop approach me and says he's erasing himself off the tapes. Then he says there's enough on the tapes he's going to have to flee to Brazil or force arrest me, order a psych exam, and he will be the judge. Each time he says this, he pretends he doesn't know me in court. Twice now. It's Doug, S-I-T-T-E-L, YouTube.
Oh, I knew it. It was the promo thing for the website. You know, Heather. The one we're always going, what's that website again?
Are you still in the crazy house?
Did you lose him?
No, he's there. He's on the line. Don.
Did you mute him?
Yeah, he's got me in jail. Yeah.
Is it when you say jail? I'll let you plug your site, but answer my question. So when you say jail, do you mean the crazy house?
Yeah, it's in Uploads 8, premeditated. He says he's going to flee to Brazil, and he has a she that runs the hospital, and he says there's enough on the tapes he's going to have to flee to Brazil, and she will give you a little contract.
Wow. All right, tell me the website.
Push a
Tell me the website.
Doug, Sittel.
There you go.
Uploads 7.
I got most of it out.
Yeah.
I think if you listened enough times and put all those tapes together, we could probably get what the actual website is.
A psych ward?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How do they get on the show?
Everybody gets, you get that
Free
chance.
Talk Live is for crazy people.
Right.
God.
But insane people don't call in.
not-
Crazy people get through.
If you're normal and you're listening, can you call in?
just to remind us that you still exist.
Yeah.
But crazy people always have something to talk about.
They do. There are some. Yeah, but oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, I would hate to think that this poor guy was somehow, justice was not being served for him or whatever. But the difficulty is when somebody has mental health issues, you have no clue whether what's coming out of their mouth is true.
He very well could
or not.
be. Yeah, exactly. And
well, this is.
that is like a really that is a really like creepy topic. Like once somebody in a position of authority deems you crazy and puts you in like a locked facility, and you have that stigma on you, how do you then argue your sanity?
Right. And whether you have rights.
And if you look at corruption, I'm sure there are plenty of people that
He's been in there a long time.
Yeah.
He's been calling a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he go in there for? Do you know?
Something to do with a judge sneaking into his house.
Right.
I don't know.
Something about
Brazil.
Brazil.
It's totally plausible. If you look at that Netflix documentary, Making a Murder, that's crazy. The extent that certain,
it's prosecutors probably.
Prosecutors, cops, and everything go to in order to frame somebody if they want you.
Got to get that prosecution. That's what they are. Their success is tied to.
Yeah, when the criminals wear badges, that's when it gets ugly.
Yeah, and then what do you do? Because even the folks that have badges that are supposed to arrest the bad guys with badges, nobody wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, are we gonna have a moment with Heather? This is great.
What
are you? Has this documentary changed your view of some of how police departments work?
My
view's
always
individual
been the
cops.
same. See, my view has always been the same. I know there's plenty of good cops out there, and there's plenty of cops that I have a lot of respect for. I also know that there's corruption. It's not a black and white thing for me. I judge everything on a case-by-case basis. But
do you think police could do more to make sure that they weed out
I definitely think
cops?
I definitely think there needs to be more like attention drawn to, I think more police officers, good cops should step up and, kind of hold each other accountable, or at least publicly speak on that. Like, if you know somebody from your department doing something they're not supposed to, speak out about it. Like, do something about it. Don't stay hush hush. This whole thin blue line thing,
Usually they get fired if they do that.
Eventually, but oftentimes it takes a long time. The best suggestion for all of this that I have heard is that when policemen get sued or there ends up being a civil case against a law enforcement agency, that instead of the taxpayers being on the hook to have to settle that lawsuit, that you take it out of police retirement funds.
I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah. Just make them, hit them where it hurts the most. Hit them in the pocketbooks.
You would say that you don't like laws that punish the group of people for the actions of the individual.
Oh, don't use my own words against me.
So
I'm
why would we want
this.
that? I guess.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Here's what I'm not saying that I'm disagreeing with what you're saying. I think it's very interesting.
Wait, what are you saying? How does it punish a group?
Well, but you're punishing the group of cops for the actions of one of them.
I thought you said take it out of the one for the one cop. No.
Oh no. I was being
individual?
complete
at that point, you're getting the
collectivizer.
police officers to police themselves is the notion.
Right.
And that may very well work. I don't know. But I think that the biggest problem is that for a very long time, we have essentially funded police departments with vice crime. So police departments didn't exist prior to 1850. The first one was in London about 1850.
Did everybody hear that? I just want to make sure all our listeners heard that. There did not used to be police departments before about 1850.
Yeah, people would be basically bring a criminal charge and apprehend somebody and bring them to the sheriff, and the sheriff would then lock them up for their day in court or whatever.
Right.
And then big cities felt they needed police departments, and I understand why they would feel like that. In many cases in the United States, with slavery going away, people who were doing the job of slave catching became police officers. Some people use that to disparage. It's just really what happened.
Right.
And then you're talking about them making money off of making alcohol illegal and drugs illegal and all these other things. And so these police departments have become very large. If you made drugs legal, then cops would be focusing on things like murder, rape, arson, the kind of things that people want police for. And frankly, traffic, because at this point, the government manages most of the roads. I do feel like if you're going to have cops do things like speed control, you could probably do better with automated machines rather than police officers out there with lights on the side of the road that are designed to catch people's attention. Right. As a firefighter, today I was at a 3-car accident, and every one of those people that goes by, it seems, just has to rubberneck and see what happened in the accident. Don't worry about it. I know that the flashing lights are intended to catch your attention, but people want to look at what's going on the side. That police officer with his lights going on the side of the road creates a danger in the public way.
Right.
And we don't need that. We'd be better off with, if you think that there's a certain speed that is actually dangerous for the public to go at a certain road, then by God, we should have a machine that tells people to do that. I think speeds are artificially low with the intention of police officers being able to pull people over and take a look at what's going on in your car.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot wrong with law enforcement in America, but we could fix it by essentially making them people who investigate things like
I've always said that
crimes.
when it comes to the speeding thing. Like, I've always said that I think that cops should be a lot like firefighters in that they wait at the police department until they're called. Like, you don't just go around looking for crime, and firefighters don't go looking for fires. Like, you wait till we need you.
And we'll call you. If we need anything, we'll give you a call.
Like, if a concerned citizen picks up a phone and says, hey, there's a car that's driving really erratically, fine, go out and look for that car. But
when I've had to call them, I've generally had pretty good service.
There you go.
855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about this evening. And, the phone lines are open right now. So, Chris, there was a situation where apparently Andrew Cuomo stuck his foot in his mouth. Maybe gave the Republicans some artillery by saying...
That's a theory?
Yeah. Not only is it silly to say that Make America Great Again, but America wasn't that great in the first place. And that's going to make a nice little soundbite for some hit piece someplace.
That's a spirit within hours. His spokeswoman tried walking it back. Quote, "The governor believes America is great and that her full greatness will be fully realized when every man, woman, and child is full equality."
What do all those people in those countries that aren't great think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they probably see it as a American attitude where we're better than everybody else. And if you don't like that, we might invade you.
It's always a possibility.
Yep.
Speaking of politicians putting their foot in their mouth, I love this one. MetroTimes.com. Out of Detroit, the Detroit Representative Betty Cook Scott on her Asian opponent, "Don't vote for the Ching Chong." More than a dozen community groups have called on Representative Betty Cook Scott to apologize for a series of racial slurs sources say that she used to describe her primary election opponent, Representative Stephanie Chang, Democrat, Detroit. Scott is alleged to have referred to Chang as Ching Chang and the Ching Chong to multiple voters outside polling precincts during last Tuesday's election. She also is said to have called one of Chang's campaign volunteers an immigrant, saying, "You don't belong here. I want you out of my country." Chang and Scott were running in the Democratic primary for the Senate District 1. Chang won the election with 49% of the vote. Scott came in third with 11% of the vote.
So that tactic did not work for her.
These comments are offensive to all Asian Americans, Chang tells Metro Times. "It isn't about me. It's about an elected official disrespecting entire populations, whether they be Asian American, immigrant, or residents of Senate District 1, Cook's own current House district."
Wow.
So yeah, various off-color remarks were heard by multiple people connecting with Chang, including Chang's husband, who spoke with Metro Times. Sean Gray says that overhearing Cook disparage Chang outside a precinct on the east side of Detroit, "I asked her not to speak about my wife in that manner. And that time she said to the voter that these immigrants from China are coming over and taking our community from us." Further, she said it disgusts her seeing black people holding signs for these Asians and not supporting their own people. So, there's a lot wrapped up in there.
Right.
Yes.
And some may be tempted to make correlations to other political figures who may have said maybe not as reprehensible of things, but similar things.
Now, I've been taught by the college-type folks that racism can only exist for people in power. Now, I'm not sure who's in power here, whether any one of these people's an incumbent over the other, but I would say that the black community, if you compare the black community to the Asian community, the Asians probably have a bit more power, but not a heck of a lot. I know they're getting discriminated against in Harvard.
Right.
They're not allowed to.
What, Asians are?
Yeah, they're not allowed to go to
Why?
Harvard. They have to. The standards are higher for Asians to get into Harvard.
Yeah.
White people can't compete against them, I guess.
That's a government program.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait, so Harvard doesn't want Asians?
Basically,
That's right.
because of equal opportunity law, you have different educational associations interpret that differently because there's not a clear-cut sense of how you actually pick how many Asians should go to Harvard and how many blacks you go to Harvard before you get hit with
affirmative action or whatever
before you
you're
get hit with an affirmative action lawsuit or charges from the government. So they try to do their best.
Affirmative action is basically gone, but colleges, are constantly bending over backward to not look racist. The problem is that for places like Harvard, essentially, that Asian families are diligent in getting their kids to study, and you've got a lot of really great academics who are of Asian ancestry. So when you look at people based on their race, you're like, oh my God, the Asians are taking over Harvard. If you look at students based on their academics, you'd be like, wow, why wouldn't we want the best students in here?
Right.
And it's a very difficult situation. And here we see, marginalized communities going after each other for, I don't know, a seat of power.
For racism. I look at this, and this is what I see. This is no different if Chong were white and...
It's Chang, you racist.
I'm sorry. And Betty Cook Scott.
By the way, that's her maiden name.
Was it? Is it really?
Her husband's name's Gray.
It doesn't matter.
That's
it
a
doesn't
color.
matter. But but in all this, I mean, it's racist, and I just don't get it. People are free to be racist.
Scott didn't claim that she was superior in any way to Chang. So that's what racism is. This is this is racial slurs used in a racially insensitive
way. What
way.
did I miss when I stepped out?
Well,
you don't belong here. Let me see.
Right,
I want you out of my country. Called her an immigrant. Ching Chang.
Who called this to who?
The representative Betty Cook Scott. I probably should mention that Betty Cook Scott appears to be, I don't know if the story says this, but she appears to be black. And
is she called an Asian woman all these things?
Yes. And apparently it says here that, Gray, who is black, says Scott then went on to call him a fool for marrying Chang. Oh, Gray. So her husband, Chang's husband, is black.
But his name's Gray.
But his name is Gray.
I'm really confused.
And then Cook said further, she said, I discussed her seeing black people holding signs for these Asians and not supporting their own people. So more of this, you got to vote for somebody who looks like you.
We don't want racism, but these are my own people.
But you know what? I'll sit here and I'll say this sounds racist to me. It sounds stupid. It sounds short-sighted. I don't agree with these people at all. But what you will not hear me say is, so we need a law to fix this, or we need more laws to correct this, or this person should be punished. If people want to be racist at their own peril, that's what I say, because long term, it's not going to benefit you. You're going to look like an idiot.
This is what happens when with identity politics, ultimately. When you give people a pass and say, hey, I know you've been treated badly by the color, your gender, your ableist, or whatever the situation is, it says to them they're allowed to exploit that particular angle for whatever it is that they want to get. And I understand that some of that underlies. Right? Like there's some Chinese people are going to vote for Chang because she's Asian. And there's some black people who are going to vote for Cook because she's black. Yep. Now, I imagine it makes it a little more difficult for somebody who's in one of these two groups to decide on Chang when she's got a black husband, but whatever. None of these things would particularly be important to me. I just got an invite to a local reps who happens to be black's event here in New Hampshire. Nobody says anything about that one way or the other. He's a Republican, though, so Well, that just throws the whole thing into haywire.
Oh my God!
He's a sitting rep or running?
No, it's Eddie Edwards.
Oh, Eddie Edwards. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So I wish we could just stop this whole identity politics thing, because here you've got two women of two different ethnicities fighting over this seat of power, and if this doesn't bring it into clarity, exactly what's going on, I don't know what else is going to, because if it was some white guy here, you wouldn't even have got the story.
Oh yeah, you would have. He would have been run out of town. He would.
If he would have, if he was saying that about Chang, but if he was the target, right?
It drives me crazy.
I can't believe you're voting for Whitey. I can't believe you're voting for a man.
Right.
Those kind of things. Then
in this patriarchy, then that's the kind of thing that people rightfully feel.
And I don't think that white people should vote for white people because they're white. I think that's a terrible reason to vote for people. All I'm saying is that identity politics is a bad idea. And just as a little side note, the very last thing you want to do is to corral white people into a situation where they're thinking, I feel subjugated for my race. You don't want white people to think about race because they're still in power,
right?
So it's a bad idea, and that's coming basically out of the mouths of many black authors on the internet that I've read. I think it's a oppression point, but
I think it is crazy too, though. Even with the mainstream media, like in the narrative that they're pushing, where you have was it Roseanne, that show getting canceled? Roseanne is a legitimate comedian, right? Makes a dark humor comment or whatever, show canceled. But then you get this writer for the New York Times, an Asian woman, saying
Sarah Jiang.
Yeah, saying things that were 10,000 times worse than the degree that a known comedian made.
Free market program brought us identity politics and all this stuff? Probably not free market, was it?
Oh, no, it was probably government.
Probably government.
Would be my guess that
I think we could explore that.
When people started, saw a benefit from identifying as a particular way.
I don't know. There's just double standard.
855-450-3333. Free Talk Live.
Have you experienced the miracle of CBDs? They can help you reduce suffering, reduce stress, help you sleep better, modulate inflammation in the body, and is absolutely safe. Meta Hemp Solutions offers a radically innovative approach to CBDs for exceptional results. Stop suffering and reduce your stress now. Isn't it time for a good night's sleep? Stop worrying about tomorrow today. Lab tested for potency, purity, and is non-psychoactive. Free shipping to all 50 states. Try our product risk-free, money-back guarantee. Use code GCN15 to get 15% off. That's code GCN15 to get 15% off. Offer ends soon, so visit MetaHemp Solutions today at metahempsolutions.com or call 833-858-7500. Suffer no more. Get rid of the stress and sleep better. Get our product now at metahempsolutions.com. That's metahempsolutions.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 16th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,178 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,338. Antiwar.com reports in his signing statement for the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, President Trump set out his plans to defy congressional attempts to limit involvement in the Saudi invasion of Yemen. Congress has been expressing concerns for quite some time about war crimes. The Trump administration has been eager to participate in the war, but less eager to discuss those times when Saudi warplanes bombed a school or a wedding or a hospital. Most recently, Saudi warplanes bombed a school bus, killing 44 children in the northern village of Dayan. This only adds to the question about U.S. support for keeping those warplanes flying and helping the Saudis pick targets. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defense James Mattis both reportedly pressed the Saudis on the matter. The Saudis clearly aren't worried, with coalition leadership insisting the attack on the bus was a legitimate military action. Saudi internal investigations have virtually without exclusion endorsed the incidents that killed large numbers of civilians, and the administration has backed the Saudis consistently at the UN. As Congress presses the administration to pare back its involvement, these large body counts, especially among children, are only going to make it more difficult for President Trump to justify continued involvement and refuse to comply with new reporting requirements. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With both secure nodes and supernodes, Zencash recently surpassed 17,000 nodes, which means Zencash has one of the largest node systems of any cryptocurrency. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports beer and liquor importer Constellation Brands announced a $4 billion investment in Canadian marijuana grower Canopy Growth Corp. Constellation, whose brands include Modelo and Corona Beer, Svedka Vodka, and Case Noble Tequila, currently has a 10% investment in Canopy Growth. The new infusion of cash will increase the stake to about 38% and includes warrants and other incentives to raise its position in the company to 50% in the next 3 years. Shares in Canopy Growth, Canada's largest medical marijuana producer, rose over 23% in Wednesday trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Constellation stock fell by 8.9%. The investment is indicative of a culture in which any stigma of marijuana is fading. Bloomberg News reported on Wednesday while U.S. federal law still prohibits recreational marijuana sales and use, it is now legal in 9 states. Medical marijuana use is now legal in 31 states, and penalties for marijuana possession and use have been reduced in many jurisdictions. Canada will legalize marijuana for recreational use on October 17th. Analysts have suggested that sales of alcoholic beverages may fall in the next decade, according to Fortune. Constellation has said it does not intend to enter the U.S. marijuana market until it is legalized throughout the country. CEO Bruce Linton said Wednesday, though, the federal law could change sooner than people think. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. Reuters reports a Colorado baker who won a narrow Supreme Court victory over his refusal to make a wedding cake for a gay couple is suing the state after it launched another case against him for declining to create a cake for a transgender woman. Jack Phillips, owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop in the city of Lakewood, accuses Colorado's Civil Rights Commission of violating his constitutional rights to free speech, freedom of religion, equal protection, and due process, according to the lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Denver on Tuesday. The written complaint alleges this lawsuit is necessary to stop Colorado's continuing persecution of Phillips. Also named in the lawsuit are Governor John Hickenlooper and Cynthia Kaufman, the state attorney general. Phillips seeks permanent injunctions against the state for taking any enforcement actions against him. The lawsuit stems from a complaint filed by Denver attorney Autumn Scardina with the Civil Rights Commission in 2017, in which she claims that Phillips refused to bake a cake that celebrates my transition from male to female. Phillips is also seeking $100,000 in punitive damages against the director of the state Civil Rights Division, Aubrey Ellenson, for her unconstitutional actions. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A study published Friday by the University of Minnesota found that mosquitoes have no physiological reason for biting humans, with researchers noting that the insects feed exclusively on pollen and seemingly only suck human blood out of spite.
According to our findings, mosquitoes usually spit out the blood after a bite. They just really enjoy ruining outdoor activities and spreading deadly diseases.
Researchers added that mosquitoes often bite a variety of vertebrates besides humans, including baby pandas, koala bears, and very small puppies, all for fun. And in tech news, a new Visa talking credit card urges buyers to go for it.
Come on, buy it. You know you want it.
In other news, the utterance of a secret password grants customers access to a long-rumored 18-inch Subway sandwich. It's easy to tell what an area man would look like as a skeleton, and a longtime teacher retires without changing a single student's life. This week's scheduled interview with the surly and forlorn Matthew Modine was cut for time and is doomed to never be seen. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live. It's kicking off the third hour here on the live Thursday night edition. It's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And no Daryl.
Not Daryl.
No Daryl tonight, and this is Chris.
Yeah.
But we're so used to it. It's always a treat, Mark, when you show up.
I know.
At some point or another, Thursday night was my night.
Was it?
And then
come back
when Daryl came around or something. I don't remember exactly
you made
what
some
happened.
space and you switched things around. Everybody's kind of settled into this new rotation. But I've been on Thursday nights for 2 years, something like that. It's been a long time.
I listened in a lot on when the three of you started doing the show together.
Yeah.
And I was always very impressed with the chemistry, like the Thursday night show. So, Daryl will probably be back next week.
Cool.
He is a little ill right now. He's got a stomach bug, and hopefully he's feeling better. He went to bed early, and he's very upset that he didn't get to go on his runs today.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, he was supposed to do an 8-mile run today and 8-mile run yesterday, and he can't. He did 4 yesterday and then 0 today.
And he's doing that because Daryl is running in the New York Marathon, and that is the big mamma jamma. I mean, that is a huge marathon, and we're all really proud of him being able to do that.
Especially because it benefits one of the best nonprofits, the Innocence Project.
Innocence
Project.
Go check it out at run.freetalklive.com.
So they basically help exonerate wrongly convicted criminals like Stephen Avery, who is the one from that Making a Murderer documentary I brought up earlier.
I've got to watch this. Is it a documentary or is it a series?
Well, it's a documentary, but they break it down into so many episodes. But I binge watched it in one weekend. Is
it coming back for another season?
You can follow. The case is still going on right now. So if you go follow him on Facebook, it's like the Steve Avery Project.
But he was in prison for like 20-something years.
He's still there.
Oh, is he still?
Yes.
Jeez. Oh. Wow.
Like, it's so sad. It's like heartbreakingly sad. Like, oh my God.
This is what I hate.
The defense attorney, though, in this documentary is a beast. He did such a good job, and he took on like this corruption and like proved beyond any reasonable doubt that what they did. I mean, it's just crazy.
We can see over and over and over again how many times the American criminal justice system is hijacked by. I mean, hijacked. It just goes and convicts innocent people all of the time, but people defend it and defend it and defend it and defend it, and I'm stunned by it.
Yeah. So basically, what ended up happening was, like, I'll sum it up short for you. This guy Steve Avery was wrongly convicted of a crime, and he ended up doing a bit in jail for it. His innocence was proved. He ended up getting all this notoriety about how, was shaking hands with governors. People they genuinely felt bad that he did all this time behind jail for something he didn't do.
Right.
Well, he had this crazy lawsuit with against the department, and basically was going to prove that they knowingly put him away because of one bad cop's wife had an issue with the one they wanted to lock up, essentially. Okay. And so right before this lawsuit, a crime is committed, and they ended up planning the vehicle on Steve Avery's little car dealership thing, junkyard or whatever. Frame him, use a sample of his blood from the first time they incriminate. But the first time they sent him away, they had a sample of his blood on file. These cops, and they proved it, right, that the forensic vial of his blood had been broken into. and somebody like took the blood out of it and planted it in the car that was used in another crime in order to frame him.
So one question and then a follow-up. Heather, would you say that this show and exposure to these types of things has changed in some way your view of policing in general?
No, I already knew there were plenty of cops like that prior to watching it, but it just refreshed my memory.
Right. Would you agree that these problems may be more systemic than just be the results
I do
of
think
individuals?
It's systemic, especially when you have such a, when police are constantly called as witnesses, and then when they're held to some certain standard, which, even though cops are enforcing the law, I still don't think their opinion or their word should ever in any juror's mind be more valuable than anybody that's testifying against them.
I concur with you.
And I think everybody listening to this, if you're ever on a jury stand, I'm not saying the cop's wrong. I'm not saying he's right either. Just take everybody's voice as a grain of salt, and cops can lie too.
I agree.
And
and so can defendants.
Let's go to the phones. We got Matthew calling in from Netherly, Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, so, wow, a million other topics since I got on the phone. But I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to stick to what I originally called about.
Always a good idea.
But about that, the thing in Detroit was between those two competing. What is it? Congress critters?
Right, Congress critters. They appear to be for Detroit 1 here, Detroit District 1 representatives, both. Maybe there's some redistricting. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like they both were at one point representatives. One of them is Betty Cook Scott, and the other one is, I don't have her name pulled up right now. Her last name is Chang.
Okay. I get the idea that she's Asian, and y'all had mentioned,
the Betty Cook Scott's black.
Yep. But I think this is more identitarian than racist.
Yeah.
Or racial would be another word that I've heard used to describe this. Because I don't think either one of these groups thinks that it is fit to rule everybody else. Maybe they do. I don't know enough.
They did.
Now, have you ever heard
at the least the one rep, Betty Cook Scott, gave the impression that people that it's despicable when black people don't vote for black reps.
Right, and I was all set to vote for Herman Cain till he got blown out. So what does that make me?
Yeah, well, just a Republican. Nobody cares about your opinion on this stuff. Only Democrats get to set the talking points on racial issues.
Right. I'd love to talk to you about why anybody would want to get into Harvard so that they can become a ruling class, but that's another issue.
I'd love to be able to say that I went to some Ivy League college. Now, I mean, at this point, I bombed out of college, and frankly, I'm in no mental state to go back. I'm just not the kind that I can pay somebody to tell me what to do. You can pay me and tell me what to do. I can pay you and tell you what to do, but I cannot pay you and you tell me what to do. That's a terrible system as far as I'm concerned.
Right, and not to mention Harvard is a prime recruiting ground for the FBI and the CIA. So
We'll
see how well that's going. Are you familiar with a historian called David Barton?
No, I don't think his name doesn't come to mind. It's not like I remember all these historians either. Mostly I just consume podcasts and shows about historical topics that interest me.
Well, he was, and probably still is, Glenn Beck's favorite historian. I had to stop listening to Glenn Beck because I know he's anti-Trump. There's a difference between being anti-Trump and being toxic.
I haven't heard his show in a long time. He got taken off of the local station here, and he slipped down the ratings. Something happened.
Yeah, because you can be anti-Trump without being toxic about it. But he was just toxic because he refused to accept his responsibility for helping Ted Cruz lose. And he did that primarily by being all theocrat on the campaign trail and made everybody think, oh my God, Ted Cruz is some kind of crazy televangelist running for office, which he's not, but he let his dad and Glenn Beck steer the messaging, and it was just
didn't quite do it, huh?
No, it lost a large number of people who would have otherwise voted for him for his actual stands on the issues.
I always bothered me that his wife was part of the Federal Reserve Bank, and he claimed to be sort of anti-Federal Reserve.
I thought she was a part of the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations.
You'll have to look it up and tell me some other time. Thanks for the call, Matthew.
Appreciate it.
But wait. One last thing. Hello?
Well, I mean, you got 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
But I've often thought that
855-450-3733.
Tried to work with you, man.
855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live, or use the Discord at discord.freetalklive.com.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com with just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT NoGov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Thursday night edition. I'm used to saying Sunday. I'm almost always on Sunday nights in this seat here. So Thursday night, and Daryl is off because he is ill. So it's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
You can call in 855-450-3733. And before I get to the phones, I want to tell you about Zencash. Zencash is one of these cryptocurrencies you've heard so much about, but all of them, I guess, have some claim to fame or another. To me, what makes Zencash special is that you can send private transactions. I'm 100% sure in my own mind that this is where cryptocurrencies are going to go. People want their transactions to be private. They don't want people to necessarily be able to go back 10 years ago, because you can right now with Bitcoin. It was created in January 2009, and you can see every transaction going back for nearly a decade on the Bitcoin network. Now, you don't necessarily know who did it, but yeah, well, as computers get bigger and bigger, they're going to be able to put this information together as time goes by, and that's a little frightening. Zencash.com to find out more. It's a currency. It's also a way to send messages if you want. They've got these securing things called super nodes and secure nodes, and they bring the network economic and technical improvements. Check them out. Find out more. Zencash.com. I manage a little bit of cryptocurrency for an organization, and I have gone pretty heavily into Zencash because I think that it's going to go somewhere. Let's go to David calling in from New York. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? David, can you hear me?
Sure, I can.
Okay, gotcha. What's on your mind?
In the past we've talked about North Korea and the black market. It's very interesting. You could look it up. I'm not where I put it, but there's literally space. North Korea, the government itself funds a lot of black market because they have these state-run meth labs.
State-run meth labs.
When the economy crashed, and also because of sanctions, they have to make money. And when you have a state-sponsored crime, it's the easiest way to go. And a lot of it was to China, and a lot of it comes back in. So the fact that Kim Jong-un looks away from the black market in his country, I mean, they're literally a state-sponsored black market too. It all flows in together.
Yeah, I have never heard that before. I've heard that they don't do anything about marijuana. I'll take your word for it. Sounds believable. I heard they don't do anything about marijuana, and then it's kind of like, whatever. It's just weed growing.
No, it's supposed to be. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know if you want to call it epidemic proportions, but a lot of people there are addicts, and especially to meth. I mean, I'm sure if you don't have food, at least there's something to get by with,
Every time I see any documentaries, the people that they're sort of going places and seeing, your average North Korean, they look like they're just stone-faced.
Right.
Stone-faced, thin, gaunt. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible.
Yep.
But, I mean, just on that comment on the past that I've heard you said about the black market, that, Kim looks away and
now you know why.
He has to in order to keep the country going,
Yep. Cool. Thanks for the call, David.
Appreciate it. I'm going to follow up on this because I had not heard that, but just an article I just happened to Google, The Daily Beast, Kim Jong-un Breaking Bad, The Secret World of North Korean Meth. So I'm going to check that out. It's kind of interesting.
Greg calling in from Brooklyn. Greg, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey all. I wanted to pick up where I left off. I was calling yesterday about spreading open source software ideas to other aspects of what people do. So I just wanted to suggest that we could apply open source to drugs, for example. Drug research.
Open source drugs?
Open source drugs.
Yep.
Okay.
Try to stay close to the mic. You sound a lot better. I don't know what to exactly...
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Oh, it's a lot better.
Thanks. Open source drugs.
Yep.
So look at this picture. You've got a university. You've got the next Einstein in the physics department, and they are researching physics. They discover something new, and what do? They publish it. They publish it for everybody to read freely.
Yep.
And then other scientists can build on their results. And Newton said, if I saw further, it's because I stood on the shoulders of giants, right?
Right.
Then you have, right next door, the microbiology department or biochemistry department. And there, someone makes a discovery about a potential compound that could help people. Okay. And all of a sudden, of course, those giants start renting their shoulders. All of a sudden, Big Pharma comes in and they swoop down and they say, okay, well, now we're going to patent your drug. Right. And now we're going to sell it, and we're going to, because, R&D is expensive. Clinical trials are expensive.
Yep. It's been made as expensive as possibly could, too.
You do realize this is all rigged, right? That Big Pharma can send thousands of lobbyists to D.C. with millions and billions of dollars to make sure that all the FDA laws stay in place. And if anything, any new laws pass, they will be in favor of Big Pharma?
Oh, there you go.
Right.
And so even if the FDA laws stay in place, though, there's a whole other set of laws that relate to patent infringement. And they have treaties with other countries, too.
Sure.
So if a group of people in the Netherlands comes up with a nice solution or a therapy, well, they have to pay royalties to Big Pharma in order to just save people's lives. Essentially.
How do they pay royalties if they're not if they're just giving away technology they created?
Well, normally what would happen is if they infringe on someone's patent,
right?
They would have to. There's FRAND, fair and something rules of at least the government tries to.
They're going to get smacked around, make them pay before they can enter the marketplace, and then what you have is maybe a life-saving drug that'll take maybe 10 years to make it through the FCC system or FDA system. I agree with you completely. The whole system's screwed up, and this is, again, a systemic problem.
Is it possible that it's screwed up by socialized medicine, though? I mean, is it possible that all the basically the funding for R&D has to come out of the United States market because the other markets for healthcare in the world are socialized and they have specific amounts that they'll pay for medicine? Because medicine costs different in Canada than it does in the United States. We've seen that over and over again. There's companies that make their living by moving drugs from Canada to the United States.
Sure.
And I mean, does that mean, and I don't know, I'm just asking a question here, does that mean that basically the United States funds the R&D for every drug that comes out in the world, and the rest of the world enjoys the benefits of those drugs through their socialized medicine?
Right, but I hesitate to call what we have a benefit to the world.
Well, if it's paying for it, I mean, the United States taxpayer pays for the military for the world. You can't argue that. We keep the shipping lanes open. It isn't the frickin' Netherlands doing it, I can tell you that.
That's true. The question is does our current policy, foreign policy, cause this to be a problem in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Right. Greg, you have gotten walked all over, but I'm sorry, it's one of those nights. I want to hear more about it later. I'm sorry. Sure. Thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call, man.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out. So you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Thursday night edition. It's Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Chris.
Yep, I pushed Greg off the air, and the people on the phone lines dropped off. Can you believe it? This is what happens when you plan ahead in this business.
Whoops.
Yeah, what are you going to do? 855-450-3733. Want to tell you about the AMP program. Honestly, the AMP program is a way for you to spread the ideas of liberty far and wide. If you think that Free Talk Live does a good job of spreading these ideas, if we spread them in a way that other programs simply can't, because, well, most of your favorite Liberty podcasts out there are great podcasts, but they're not on 190 radio stations across the U.S. They're pull media, as it were. They pull people in to listen to their show. Free Talk Live is a push medium. We're on 190 radio stations across the U.S. If you want us to be on more, if you want us to reach more people, if these ideas are important to you, go to the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. All we ask for, $5 a month. It's amp.freetalklive.com. And let's go to the phones. We've got Mortified Penguin on the Discord. Mortified Penguin. How do I shorten that? Peng? Mort?
Mort Pen.
What's that?
How you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. What's on your mind?
Great. Good show tonight, guys. Wish Daryl speedy recovery, like the hosting combo, though. But I wanted to call kind of when I heard most of the call from Stefan from Ohio, just calling about stuff, mentioning Gary Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was upset that Gary Johnson was running for U.S. Senate from New Mexico, and which is, of course, the state that he held the governor's seat for 8 years.
And I think he was upset, too, that if Gary wins, he's going to be like the first libertarian elected.
Yeah, that was right. He felt that he poorly represented
He didn't deserve to be the
libertarians.
first libertarian elected.
Yeah, exactly what Mark just said. He felt that Gary Johnson would be a representative and spokesperson for libertarianism. I mean, that conflict is what I wanted to talk about. So basically, the big contradiction here is that you have your more pragmatist kind of, you have your small your fiscally conservative, socially liberal crowd, small government types, and then I guess Gary Johnson would be in that category.
Yeah, I think he covers that pretty well.
They're going to be enthusiastic about the LP candidates and enthusiastic maybe about Gary Johnson and everything. And then you're going to have your like you were talking about, the hardcore libertarians, the voluntary anarchists, and then you have your kind of hybrids that are really into LP politics. They're really considered, but they consider themselves really hardcore libertarians, and I guess some others. And I think the contradiction is, the more hardcore libertarian you are, the less likely you're going to be into politics. If you're a hardcore voluntarist, you believe that voting is violence. You know, I mean, if you're a hardcore libertarian,
I would like to address that.
Yeah, I mean, I just see there's a big contradiction here.
I believe that is that's propaganda that's been trickled down from early 20th century communists and anarchists, like real anarchists. Like, we want communism by skipping over socialism anarchism, and nobody has been able to show me yet that voting is in some way, shape, or form violence. And I have talked to the biggest and brightest in this particular field, and I have yet to see it.
I think it's funny if you want to troll anarchists.
Here's my issue, and this kind of sums up my issue with Gary Johnson, is that I don't think he really does a good job of explaining what libertarianism is about. That's it. When it boils down to, forget everything else, that's it. I'm sorry, Heather, go ahead.
I think Gary, though, has always maintained that he's just one of those socially tolerant, fiscally conservative. That's his definition of libertarianism.
Right. But does that, I guess, then my question becomes does that mean you should be the spokesperson of the Libertarian Party?
He's not running for spokesperson of the Libertarian Party. He is running for Senate.
Yeah, but he also was the nomination. And so you had a bunch of people that worked to grow the party in so many different ways, attend a national convention, each have their own vote worth the same amount, and of all of the people that voted, Gary was the one they chose. So whether Stefan or anyone else likes it, that's the way the cookie crumbled.
That's why I just see that libertarianism is more important than a person or a party. And to me, it's really about whether we want this message to get out.
Mortified Penguin?
So yeah, if you're really a hardcore libertarian who follows the it takes
the non-aggression principle
very seriously, non-aggression principle. Yeah, then I mean, there's an argument that you cannot, some of the libertarians, there's some, of course, that won't take the oath. They won't be able to perform the duties of the office because the government is coercive and uses violence. And those people, I mean, that's a big contradiction to the people that are really into LP politics, and there's a big spectrum, and it's just contradiction. And you get into these arguments, and you get into all these caucuses, and you get into the whole crowd. The third crowd of people who are just obsessed with LP politics. I don't even understand
right.
that
I
crowd.
agree with you.
But they're in huge tension with each other, and it's such a disunifying effort. It's like it's hard to even draw a commonality between these strains of thought,
The problem is the majority of the purest, quote unquote, libertarians are pretty much just one-man dictators. They literally want everything to be their way or the highway. And if you deviate from anything, and anybody that even says like, oh, you can't ever use, quote unquote, violence, right? Anytime you're in a disagreement, right, and you're fighting for what you think is right, if the other person believes what they think is right, you're both using violence on each other, but you both think it's self-defense. Well, who's the aggressor? Like, so everybody in their right mind is going to defend what they believe is right. And whether you want to believe it or not, that kind of inherently makes you an aggressor of some sort to your own value system. And you're going to aggressively defend that, right? So if somebody disagrees with your value system...
Politics is always going to be about compromise.
Exactly. And so nobody can be like, I'm not, like, into violence, but I want to, you know... defend this.
Aggression can be defined, though.
Exactly.
Aggression is not about defending your ideas.
But to say that government is all violence is like saying self-defense is violence, because a lot of people believe that enforcing certain values in a community is in defense of something, not in aggression.
See, this is why I hate politics.
We do have government.
What?
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that this is why politics drives me nuts, is that we can spend all our time talking about what the correct message of a particular group should be, but what I'm interested in is just talking about ideas. And I think if people can explain libertarian principles, the NAP, in 10 seconds or less, practice your elevator speech, maybe I'll convince my neighbor to become more libertarian. That's more important to me than whether Gary Johnson wins a Senate seat. I just don't care.
What's more important is like issues and
Thanks
solutions.
for the call, Mortified Penguin.
Appreciate it, man.
Like, not even like just principles. Like, principles are all fine and dandy, but when it comes to politics, right, the most libertarian person isn't going to fix the issue of, wastewaters. The most principled libertarian isn't going to fix the issue of unemployment line. The most principled libertarian...
give that a shot, too.
No, but I'm saying these are all real-world issues that need solutions, and the majority of libertarians are fighting philosophy and not fighting real-world problems.
Sometimes the solutions to those problems is to do away with what created the problem in the first place.
No,
and
but you constantly use government as a scapegoat.
Because government, I'm not using it as a scapegoat.
Yes,
Be
you
very
do.
clear. No. What I'm saying in the couple examples you just gave is it's government's fault that it happened in the first place.
No, it's not. It's an idea. Government is just the mechanism which enforces it. So if it was a good idea enforced by government, it would have good results.
Right, except that doesn't really happen in the real world. That's my problem.
Because Portugal decriminalized drugs, right? The government of Portugal decriminalized drugs, which netted a positive gain to Portugal. That was a decision by government that netted positive effects.
To remove
themselves
from the equation.
Well,
that was a good sign.
They did provide state-funded medical treatment, as opposed to
certainly more to it. But
so there's some of that too.
Yeah, when government votes to remove itself, I'm all for that.
Government is like a gun. It can be used for good or it can be used for bad.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Or discord.freetalklive.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NUTRIMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com or 888-212-8871.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
The first point is it's legal, and that's important. Now, my question to you would be, they gassed Jews legally in Germany. Was that a good law?
Well, I don't know. I don't live in Germany.
Come on.
You don't know?
You don't know whether it was a good idea to gas Jews? You don't know whether it was a good idea to incarcerate Japanese Americans during World War II?
What does that have to do with them crossing the borders of the United States
I'm making a point, and I'm drawing a parallel, and it's a clear parallel, and you're dodging it. Do good people disobey bad laws, Buck?
No.
Good people do not disobey bad laws?
Criminals dodge the law.
Buck, wait a second. What if they outlawed guns in your state? Would you turn yours in, Buck?
Oh, absolutely, in a minute.
You would? Well, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You're a fascist. Bye.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinner time conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. It's the live Thursday night edition. Final segment. Mark with you.
Heather.
And Chris.
Let's go right to the phones. We got plenty. I don't even know how to call out this username from the Discord. Let's just call him Calm, because that's one of the words. Calm Smoke. Calling in a... I don't even know what that username is.
Hey, Mark. It's Zach in Minnesota.
Hey, Zach. How are you?
Hey, I'll be brief because I know we're coming up on the end of the show, but just kind of to pick up where Mort Penn left off. So if we look at like libertarian candidates coming up, into the political sphere, I think my first thought is, one, our community, our ideas are too varied. No one's going to be happy with whoever goes for office. So I think that's thing one. Thing two is, I think we should all, as a community, again, try to just understand that maybe getting at least some of these ideas out into the public sphere, into the public space, is worth something. Even if you don't agree with that candidate, even 50% of the time, getting some of these ideas out there into the mainstream, I think, is the only way we're going to see any change in our lifetimes. How long has it taken for even just marijuana to even be maybe a 50-50 issue? It's 20 years? It used to be kind of this fringe topic, and now it's kind of becoming, it's getting, legalized and things like that. And I think most people, I'm going to say over 50%, are probably okay with it. You hear the typical like tax and regulate lines, but they're at least okay with it. And I think that just getting some of these ideas out there is worth something. So I wish people would just get behind candidates like Gary Johnson, even if you don't agree with him 100% of the time.
There's probably value in just having a libertarian elected, because that word because then somebody's done it. You remember who the first man to walk on the moon was. You don't remember the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or any of those other people.
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, well, good job. I knew Buzz's name too. But you don't remember the seventh, and ultimately, that may be of some value or another. I appreciate the call. Thanks.
Point noted,
Zach.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thought experiment. Like I said, I'm looking for somebody I can get really excited about that, and that person is going to be charismatic. That person is going to be able to enunciate libertarian philosophy in a way that it comes across. And maybe that's honestly, Mark, you'd be
retired.
great at it, right? And Ron Paul's retired,
right? Ron Paul's retired, and Mark's a felon. So there you go.
Strike one, strike two. But
I don't know what to tell you. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, what do you think about Gary Johnson running for Senate there in your lovely New Mexico?
Well, that's kind of funny because I was going to call you on that tonight, but I got a couple other things. But let me answer your question though on Gary Johnson. I don't know. His competition is it's going to be a three-way. Actually, him getting in probably does some positive things, because if Johnson's not in the race, then Martin Heinrich, the Democrat, is almost certain to win against the listen to this Republican name. It's a perfect Republican name, McRich.
It's funny.
His first name is Mick, and his last name is Rich.
And New Mexico tends to go blue in most presidential elections. I think they probably are a mix back and forth, kind of a purple state, really.
Well, they're a mix. However, they are predominantly blue, and it's almost guaranteed. In fact, I should just flat out say it. I should stop hedging. It's guaranteed that the Democrat will win if Gary Johnson's not in the race. In other words, Mick Rich does not have enough of a chance against Heinrich. So with Johnson getting in, it splits the vote three ways, and the polling changes to a much, much more even race. I don't know what the polls were before Johnson got in, but it would be something like 60-some% for Heinrich, and way less for McRich.
Okay. So what did you call it about?
Heinrich, well, let me finish my thought.
Okay, sorry.
And then with Johnson getting in, it becomes almost head-to-head with Johnson and Heinrich, with Rich like 5-8, maybe 10 points behind. But a fairly close three-way race.
So you think you think Johnson has a real chance, even as a libertarian,
or a chance to be a spoiler?
Libertarian Party. No, he's not. In this case, it's not really going to be it's the only person that's a spoiler for would be the guy who basically was a shoe-in to win, Heinrich. That's the only person who it makes it a more competitive race all around, as opposed to a virtual guaranteed landslide for Heinrich. So it's a good deal overall. Libertarian, for the Libertarian Party, and you refer to Johnson as a pseudo-libertarian. Oh, a comment on Heather, your analogy, guns and government. I don't think that it is like a gun.
That the government's like a gun?
Government will note your government. Yeah, say again?
You were dropping out. I'm just trying to fill in your words.
Yeah, government fires and does damage without a trigger. That government has a mind of its own. If we the people are the gun owner, and we guns don't mind of their own or the locus of control to pull, but a government does. David,
I'm going to have to let you go. The audio's messing up here. I appreciate the call.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Heather, your thoughts on that?
I stand by what I said. I think government is a tool that can be used as
government guys tend to be tools. That's for sure.
No, I think it is. I think I made my point with the whole Portugal thing. Like, government can make a decision that can net a community positive effects, or it can make a decision that can net them bad.
How about when they make a decision that just rolls back the bad decision they made in the first place?
You have to ask yourself why government comes to exist in the first place. And the government comes to exist in the first place because there's conflict, and it's created as a form of conflict resolution.
That's
so
what
it doesn't always always resolve the conflict. Sometimes it makes matters worse.
I don't
But
disagree.
The fact of the matter is...
We got a call?
We have a call.
Up.
Sarah in New Mexico.
Oh.
You're on Free Talk Live.
Sarah Bear.
Sarah Bear.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I used to belong to a mental health club called the Ruby Rogers Center.
Hold on. I didn't even know that there were
club?
mental health clubs.
I've been to a health club, but I want to go to a mental health club.
Do you guys have jacuzzis?
Well, no, I mean, she's the one that had the Rogers Law, where a judge has to, she sued because they medicated her and they electric shocked her about 20 years ago or something. She was on the news. I actually got to meet her at the Shattuck Mental Hospital.
She's like a mental hospital celebrity?
How were you there? Were you there as a patient, or were you there just to see her speak?
With the club.
With the club.
Well, the thing is, she is the one that threw the money and gave the money for the club, and that's why it was named the Ruby Rogers Center. And we were just paying tribute that she protected all of the mentally ill people, actually. It's actually called a Rogers Law, where a judge you have to be dangerous to yourself or to others for them to force medications on you. It's actually a code, a Rogers Law. And I was very impressed that I got to meet her because I used to hear about her on the radio a while ago. And I said, well, but I belong to the center that she donated money to. And then
I've always had a difficult time with mental health issues. On one hand, I believe that people should have control over their bodies and decide what goes into their bodies, and that includes drugs and those sorts of things. On the other hand, I've met some crazy people, and I don't know what to do about that. They didn't seem like they were able to make good, cogent decisions for their lives, and it can be pretty upsetting. So I don't know. I mean, I know a friend who was really helped by electric shock therapy.
Right. The question to me becomes when they start to infringe on someone else's rights. So. Well,
that's the whole point. Is that they just did whatever they want with her in the mental hospital, and she wound up suing. I think they electric shock, over medicated her. They did a bunch of things where she sued, and then the law actually is named after her.
Interesting.
The reason I call is that we have our own clubs. I used to belong to the drop-in center here, a mental health club, because the thing is we accept and welcome and love one another. That's the whole point of having these support groups.
So this is a club of it's a support group, okay? Because you say health club and we think health club, but mental health club, we were having a hard time. But this is people that have been under mental health care at some point, and they get together to support each other. Is that basically what you're saying?
Well, it's a club. We eat, we go split, do all sorts of computer, type TV, we do all sorts of stuff. But we're all together because
it's like a big LAN party. That's awesome.
Sounds great.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You ever been to a LAN party?
I remember those.
Yeah, they are great. Drive safe out there. Check us out, freetalklive.com. It's been Mark with you.
And Heather.
And Heather. Sorry, guys.
Chris.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com, We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveAtPurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 16th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,178 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,338. Antiwar.com reports in his signing statement for the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, President Trump set out his plans to defy congressional attempts to limit involvement in the Saudi invasion of Yemen. Congress has been expressing concerns for quite some time about war crimes. The Trump administration has been eager to participate in the war, but less eager to discuss those times when Saudi warplanes bombed a school or a wedding or a hospital. Most recently, Saudi warplanes bombed a school bus, killing 44 children in the northern village of Dayan. This only adds to the question about U.S. support for keeping those warplanes flying and helping the Saudis pick targets. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defense James Mattis both reportedly pressed the Saudis on the matter. The Saudis clearly aren't worried, with coalition leadership insisting the attack on the bus was a legitimate military action. Saudi internal investigations have, virtually without exclusion, endorsed the incidents that killed large numbers of civilians, and the administration has backed the Saudis consistently at the UN. As Congress presses the administration to pare back its involvement, these large body counts, especially among children, are only going to make it more difficult for President Trump to justify continued involvement and refuse to comply with new reporting requirements. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With both secure nodes and supernodes, Zencash recently surpassed 17,000 nodes, which means Zencash has one of the largest node systems of any cryptocurrency. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports beer and liquor importer Constellation Brands announced a $4 billion investment in Canadian marijuana grower Canopy Growth Corp. Constellation, whose brands include Modelo and Corona Beer, Svedka Vodka, and Case Noble Tequila, currently has a 10% investment in Canopy Growth. The new infusion of cash will increase the stake to about 38% and includes warrants and other incentives to raise its position in the company to 50% in the next 3 years. Shares in Canopy Growth, Canada's largest medical marijuana producer, rose over 23% in Wednesday trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Constellation stock fell by 8.9%. The investment is indicative of a culture in which any stigma of marijuana is fading. Bloomberg News reported on Wednesday while U.S. federal law still prohibits recreational marijuana sales and use, it is now legal in 9 states. Medical marijuana use is now legal in 31 states, and penalties for marijuana possession and use have been reduced in many jurisdictions. Canada will legalize marijuana for recreational use on October 17th. Analysts have suggested that sales of alcoholic beverages may fall in the next decade, according to Fortune. Constellation has said it does not intend to enter the U.S. marijuana market until it is legalized throughout the country. CEO Bruce Linton said Wednesday, though, the federal law could change sooner than people think. In 1999, Daryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Daryl W. Perry on Facebook, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. Reuters reports a Colorado baker who won a narrow Supreme Court victory over his refusal to make a wedding cake for a gay couple is suing the state after it launched another case against him for declining to create a cake for a transgender woman. Jack Phillips, owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop in the city of Lakewood, accuses Colorado's Civil Rights Commission of violating his constitutional rights to free speech, freedom of religion, equal protection, and due process, according to the lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Denver on Tuesday. The written complaint alleges this lawsuit is necessary to stop Colorado's continuing persecution of Phillips. Also named in the lawsuit are Governor John Hickenlooper and Cynthia Kaufman, the state attorney general. Phillips seeks permanent injunctions against the state for taking any enforcement actions against him. The lawsuit stems from a complaint filed by Denver attorney Autumn Scordina with the Civil Rights Commission in 2017.